What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So I have an unbelievable response to Social Security, a Social Security reform, if you want to call it that. This was coming from former President Trump, and he's going to be talking about Social Security. So he was asked a question during a town hall that he did last week, and I'm going to have to, I just have to show you guys his response, and then we're going to talk a little bit about this because this says a lot, and we need to pay attention to how these politicians answer the question of Social Security. Why? Because in the next 10 years, we're looking at a huge problem with Social Security. We're looking at the trust fund running out of money. When the trust fund runs out of money, people receiving Social Security benefits, so baby boomers and Gen Xers in 10 years are going to start receiving Social Security benefits as well. You're going to be looking at a decrease of about 23%. And so we need to talk about how these politicians are responding to this question, because people like former President Trump, let's say he's president again, that will take him into 2028. That's close. And so we'd only have 4 or 5 years before the trust fund would be completely depleted. So it's very important that we pay attention to what these politicians are saying when it comes to Social Security. Anytime I hear a politician talk about Social Security, I will bring that to you guys so we can discuss it. And when it comes to a president, yes, it's very important for us to know how our president feels about Social Security, about cutting Social Security, reforming Social Security, providing an increase for Social Security. All of that stuff is important, not because the president is a legislator, because he's not and she's not. They cannot legislate. They can't create bills. However, they are the final say when these bills get to their desk. So let's say there's a bill that's cutting Social Security. Well, the final say will be the president, because once it's voted on in the House, voted on in the Senate, it will go to the president's desk. And the president has the opportunity to veto that bill. Now, Congress can still override the veto, but it has to be 2/3 vote. That's you won't see that, and especially in this day and age. When it comes to Congress, it's usually divided. You're not going to have enough people to get a 2/3 vote. So the president in most situations will have that final say with a veto. So it's important for us to know what they think about Social Security. And it can go the other way around. Let's say Congress votes on and passes a bill to reform Social Security, and it provides an increase. Well, if the president is not for that increase, then guess what? The president can veto that bill. So that's why we need to be paying attention to this. So in this video, I'm going to show you this clip, and then we're going to talk about it. But first off, you guys can do me a favor. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell notification, and then click all. By clicking all, you'll get notified anytime we post a video. We do daily videos here, so by clicking the bell notification and clicking all, you should be getting updated every day. And just a reminder, thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. And if you'd like to follow me on Twitter and Threads, you can at the TEC Show Live. Okay, what I'm going to do on Tuesday, I will be doing a live stream on this channel, and we're going to cover the primary, the New Hampshire primary. So I'll be covering that. I don't know how many hours we're going to be doing that, maybe a couple of hours, but I will be coming on just to talk a little bit about the primaries. And we'll see if former President Trump wins this primary. Polls right now are saying this primary should be pretty close between Nikki Haley and former President Trump. And if you didn't hear, Ron DeSantis did step down, and so he's not running any longer. So it's a head-to-head match between Nikki Haley and former President Trump. And so make sure you mark it on your calendar. We'll be doing a live stream on Tuesday. Okay, so let's get to this video. Before I play the video, I just want to kind of set it up for you. So he's in this town hall. This is on Fox News. And he was given a really easy question to answer. He didn't even really have to answer the question because the interviewer just gave him accolades from the beginning. It wasn't even really a question. It was actually more of a statement. But I just want you to hear where he goes with this, because it's interesting to me. We're talking about Social Security, and then we start talking about something else. So I'm going to show you this. It's pretty amazing. Then we'll talk about it. Here we go.
You know, I want to talk a little bit, too, about Social Security and Medicare, because that's something that's important to a lot of people. And Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley have both called for raising the retirement age and making major cuts to Social Security and Medicare benefits. And when you were president, you protected Social Security and Medicare for American seniors, and you promised to do so again in your second term. Tell us why that's so important to you.
First of all, you've earned it. I mean, they've earned it. They want to cut it. And they also want to, the Medicare, they want to cut that. And why are you doing this? We have more liquid gold right under our feet. We have so much wealth in this country. And we don't want to do it. We want to go to all electric cars so that we don't use our wealth. China has that kind of wealth because they have the battery wealth. But electric cars don't go far. They're very expensive. And they're going to all be made in China. That's why I think we had a poll just come out, and we're 11 points up in Michigan because the auto workers and, South Carolina way up to wherever you make autos, because the auto workers understand if you go all electric, you're making those cars in China. They're not going to be made here. They're going to be made in China. And in addition to that, you should be able to buy electric cars, but you have to buy gasoline, combustion. You have to buy anything you want. You shouldn't be restricting it to electric. You go to California. I was there this summer. And you have blackouts and brownouts all the time. And now they want all their cars to be all electric. The problem is, with the car, the batteries are somewhat expensive, but they're really, they can be very dangerous, that. And they can be very big. They take up a lot of room, like they want to go all.
Okay, so that was former President Trump there responding to a question about Social Security and why he thinks Social Security is important. Now, he answered the question in the beginning by saying, because you earned it, that's great. You should have stopped there. And it's funny because I've interviewed a lot of people, or interrogated, if you want to call it that, in my days when I was working. And one thing that we were always taught is just let people talk. Just let them talk, and you'll find out what they really know. And so you might ask a question, they answer that question, and then they just keep on talking. And so he didn't give any solution to the problem when it comes to Social Security. Sure, you have Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis, they were talking about cutting Social Security, but at least they were getting into the reason why it needs to be cut, okay? And now I don't agree with it. I don't think Social Security needs to be cut, but they got to the issue of the trust fund and how the trust fund's running out of money. So we need to do something within 10 years, or we're going to be looking at these, across the board cuts of about 23%. They would at least go that far. And some of them would go even further and put out false information saying that Social Security is going bankrupt as a whole. So it won't be around in 10 years, which is not true. But he didn't answer that question of, I don't know if he was trying to transition into, okay, we have oil, we can dig for that oil, and that oil can become, it can go to Social Security. I don't know if he was trying to tie the two together, but he didn't. If that's what he was trying to do, he should have said that, because he could have easily have said that we have oil reserves. We can take those oil reserves and put them in the trust fund in order to, earn money from the oil reserves and put it in the trust fund to help when it comes to Social Security. I don't think that would be a wise decision for us to do, but he just went on to that and then went into the electric vehicles and then just stayed on electric vehicles and talked about, I don't know where he was going with this. And in situations like this, it really, if you're listening to someone answer a question and they start going off into something that has nothing to do with Social Security, you really have to question, okay, does this person even know what's going on when it comes to Social Security? Now, and I will say, I did send him a letter about Social Security reform, about an increase for Social Security. I never received a response. So I'm just putting that out there. I sent letters out to some of the different politicians. I sent a letter to Joe Biden. I did receive a letter from Joe Biden, but he didn't address the Social Security increase. He just addressed the problem. And I don't even think he gave support for any specific proposal that's out there right now. But I got nothing. I got nothing from Ron DeSantis. I got nothing from former President Trump. I got nothing from Nikki Haley. But at least 2 or 3 times a week now, I'm getting Nikki Haley sending me a text message saying, please support me. Please, donate to my campaign. And I was receiving them from Ron DeSantis. He's not running anymore, so now hopefully that will stop. But it's very interesting. I haven't received anything from former President Trump as far as donating to his campaign. But as I stated in the beginning of this video, it's crucial that we choose the right people to represent us for the next 4 years. Okay. If you like Trump, that's fine, but find out how he really feels about Social Security, because he didn't answer it here. I mean, this was like I said, this was a softball question. She pretty much set him up to say, all he needed to say was, it's an earned benefit. I think that they should get this earned benefit. End it there. Now, if you want to go on and talk about the problems that Social Security is having, that's fine, but don't go into oil reserves and electric vehicles. I don't understand how you can tie the two. Unless you're going to take all that money and put it into the Social Security Trust Fund, then why are you talking about electric vehicles and oil? So I just thought it was a very interesting response, I guess you can say. But I would like to hear more as far as what your plan is. Joe Biden has received a lot of criticism over the last few years because he's in support of the $200 raise for Social Security, and he said that back in 2020. But we haven't seen any action when it comes to a $200 raise for Social Security. But at least Joe Biden came out and said, this is what I support. We haven't heard that from former President Trump yet. We don't know if he supports a $200 raise for Social Security. We don't know if he supports anything when it comes to reforming Social Security. He's just saying, I'm not going to cut it, but we need more because something is going to need to happen in the next 10 years. And so I want to know what you guys think about this whole situation. So let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.